Welcome back for another OG show live. Mr. Randall, how you doing?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reel Down.
Welcome back to another episode of Bass Fishing Community.
Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to once again Bass Kayak Advance. Brother,
this is the final cast.
Another segment of Chasing the Tide, your saltwater connection on the paddle fin.
Welcome back, everyone. Another episode of Feather and Fur. Your host, Brad.
Welcome back to the Untitled Chapter. I'm your host, Crystal.
Hey, welcome back to Off the Water episode.
Here with Adventures of Outdoor Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast.
we're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Eastport Marina on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake. For all your lodging, kayaking, go to eastport.info. Yak Gadget. For all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs, go to yakgadget.com.
When did we change the intro? I didn't even notice we changed the intro.
Yeah, that's new, actually.
Cool. I need to do a better job probably adding the intro. I always let Brian add it to the upload. So cool, man.
Yeah, he uploaded that just recently and posted it. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool beans.
Welcome back to the final cast, guys. I have Armando joining me this week. Matt is down at Disneyland, Disney World, whatever's in Florida. I don't know what it is. I get them mixed up. So he's down there with his family, and they're having a good time. So he has the week off. But we got some cool news. The final cast is pairing up with Dark Horse Tackle. They're going to be our show sponsor from here on out, and they gave us a code. So if you want to become a Dark Horse Tackle subscription box member, use Paddle 20 for your code, and you'll get 20% off your first monthly subscription. I've been a subscriber for a few months now, and every box I've gotten has been awesome. So truly the best bait you never heard of in each box. So go check them out. But with that said, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I got a little something going on my throat right now.
Got some allergies or something going on?
Something like that, but it's all good.
Is it keeping you from the water? Or the
No.
Oh.
It's just started. It might have been something I ate, so I don't know. We'll see. I'll be good. But so Armando, you were down at icast. You met up with the Hobie Eyewear guys. We're going to be talking to Dylan Coates and Steve Vaughan. So let's bring them on the show. How you guys doing,
gentlemen?
How you doing? How's it going?
Pretty good.
Do you guys want to start off by giving a little background on you guys, how you got into the whole sunglasses industry and how you came to be with Hobie?
Absolutely. So I'm on the marketing team here at Hobie Eyewear. Been with them about 6 years now. Kind of started in customer service, worked my way up. So it was good to really see all the ins and outs of the business and really understand all the facets. And yeah, just really cool brand. A lot of fun to work with over the years. And we've just been doing a great job of always building more premium products each year that are more helpful to anglers.
Yeah, and I'm Steve Vaughan. I'm with the product development team. Been doing that for almost 15 years, come this October. So also been with the company for a long time and really enjoy what I do and get down to icast and meeting people like Armando and developing great product for the fishermen.
So this is cool because normally on our show, we talk to a lot of marketing directors and stuff like that. So I didn't realize you were product designer. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So we design, develop, and distribute and market and sell all the product.
That's cool.
In particular, I'm on the development side. Yep.
Gotcha. So yeah, we'll have a lot of questions for you, and that's going to be cool. So, Armando, where do you want to start, man? I know you met them, you saw some of the products, so.
Yeah, man. Before we start, just to give a quick shout out to Steve and Dylan. I know I spoke to Steve. I might have spoken to Dylan because I saw a bunch of the Hobie Eyewear guys both in the pond on Monday when they were doing the demos for the kayaks. They were out there just like everybody else, 100-degree weather, 100-degree humidity, and they were out, interacting with everybody out there. And then I met them at the booth, which is a lot more comfortable the following days. But I was really impressed with, their marketing and just their overall, relations, just talking to everybody and putting the brand out there. And that made me think, if they're like, if you guys got like guys like Steve and Dylan, who work more up the how do you say, up the line in, doing most of the work like product development, marketing, and they're out here grinding it out like everybody else and welcoming everybody in, made me think that they're a great customer service company. They really believe in their products. They're not just sitting on an office, catching in the check, but they really truly believe in their products. And I got to see a few of the demos where I think it was Steve, right? Who just threw a pair of sunglasses like in the middle of that pond, and somebody out there went and fetched them just to show that they float. So, I mean, Steve, I'll let you fill us in because I know there's so many great stuff about Hobie Eyewear. So I'll let you guys just fill us in on, how this got started and what's so amazing about Hobie Eyewear that really, in my mind, separates you from the rest of the competition.
Yep. So I'll take it away there. We've actually been making polarized sunglasses since 1982. Hobie Eyewear Jr. Actually experimented on the shores of California with polarized film and incorporated it into eyewear to help cut the glare while he was out on the water. So, been making premium eyewear since then, and it's kind of developed over the years, whether it's for sailing, boating, fishing, anything like that. We make premium sunglasses for any activity on the water, and both our lens and frame solutions are there to help you with any challenge you could face while you're out there, which we'll get into when Steve goes through the product line later. We have multiple different solutions for anything that you encounter out there.
Very cool.
When you say anything you encounter, like what some of the things, and as a kayak angler, I can think of a couple of things, related to maybe water clarity and water stain. But what are some of the things out there that you can encounter with product will really shine?
Yep. So right off the bat, as you mentioned, I think our best story coming out of the show was our floating collection. If you haven't lost a pair of glasses on the water, you haven't spent enough time on the water. It happens to everyone. Yep. Leaning over your sunglasses that you probably spent hundreds of dollars on just sitting to the bottom of the ocean or the lake or pond, wherever you are. So when we came out with the floating collection, that obviously solved a huge problem because now you're protecting your investment. Anytime it falls in the water, you can just scoop it right out with your net.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the floating glasses is you don't need the retainer that connects to your head or to your sunglasses. That kind of gets uncomfortable at times, you know what I mean? Especially if you're wearing a hat, 'cause then it presses down on your ears.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brad, because I've got the those, what do you call it, those tether things to my sunglasses, so they won't fall off. And after a while, it's just it gets sweaty, it gets kind of like uncomfortable. Then if you have your hoodie on, if it's hot, like right now in Texas, it's hot and humid. So I'm also constantly, putting my hoodie on. And if it gets some clouds, and I, take my hoodie off and all that, or just lower the hoodie. And it always gets like caught. So it's one less thing to worry about with this Hobie Eyewear sunglass. And I think that's a huge selling point and something that I'm really interested in, because like you said, having those things tethered to you, it's just a pain in the neck, really.
Yeah, and it's big for kayak anglers too, because we're not in the most stable of boats out on the water, so you're going to flip your kayak at some point, and you might submerge, go underwater, and you might lose your glasses.
So
that is
I
cool.
had that happen the other day, or about a month ago, actually. I was stand-up paddleboard fishing, or trying to, and I leaned over at one point, and I was sitting on a cooler, and I slid on the cooler a little bit, went right over, and I started taking an inventory of everything I lost. But the one great thing is my Monarchs was sitting there floating on the water. I'm like, all right, that's at least one thing that I'm recovering today. And I eventually found the hat kind of floating in the water.
Yeah.
But a real life example. I'm like, wow, I can always tell the story when I'm talking about our product because it's legit. And it was the one thing I didn't have to worry about. But fortunately, I was kind of headed back to the shore anyway, so it was easy to reclaim most of my stuff. But the glasses were sitting right there.
It's a good thing that you only have to worry about losing your pride and not your sunglasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
back to your question about. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
About what fishermen encounter. So, the floating glasses. So scenarios like we talked about. Obviously, the single biggest one out there is you're out there in the sun, sometimes the glaring sun all day long. And all of our lenses, with the exception of 1 or 2 specialty lenses for other activities, are 100% polarized. So they cut that glare. Glare is any reflective light coming off the water. It can even be on the surface of like a wet road. A desk has glare off of it from office lights. It doesn't matter. So when you're out there all day long, you want to cut that glare for comfort. But then, as you guys know, as a fisherman, especially if you're doing any freshwater or flats fishing or something where you're doing some sight fishing or looking out for structure or literally sight fishing for the fish themselves, you want to be able to cut the glare also so you can see into the water. So it's a comfort thing, and it reduces eye strain, but then it's for clarity looking into the water. So reflection is all polarized, again, with the 1 or 2 exceptions, not for fishing. And then people ask a lot of times, sometimes they don't know the difference between UV protection and polarized. All of our lenses protect 100% against UV A, B, and C. So those are the harmful ultraviolet lights that if you didn't have that protection, you would trick your eye into opening up the pupil by putting a tinted lens on, but then you would just be letting all that harmful UV light. Right. It protects 100% against all that. Other scenarios while you're out on the water, we kind of talked about it a little bit, is the sunlight and the ability to see into the water. And so it's very crucial for you to have different options for different scenarios. So that's a good segue. I can get right into our lens tips. So like your general all-purpose, and I don't know how well this will show up on the camera, but your general all-purpose gray polarized lens is a lens you honestly could use in all conditions. It's the basic of basics. It's a fantastic lens. It's particularly good in brighter light conditions, but that's a great all-around lens as your gray lens. If you're looking to do maybe a little more freshwater or sometimes even more lower light conditions, our copper-based lens is great. Now, what happens with a copper lens versus a gray lens is a gray lens is what's called a neutral tint, which means it basically darkens all of the light spectrum kind of evenly. It just makes everything a little darker. What a copper-based lens does is it's a contrast enhancing lens. So what that does is it makes certain colors like a red and other colors like that pop more than other colors. And it's got a kind of a funny effect. When you put a copper lens on, even on a bright day, in a weird way, it kind of seems like it's brightening things up, but it's very soothing. Right. And we get a lot of wows when people put our copper or copper-based lenses on. And it's a fantastic lens for sight fishing. So I'm a copper guy. I do more freshwater than saltwater. And I just like the lens either way. So even if I am doing some salt, I'll wear either copper or copper with green mirror. And the copper lens just makes it so much easier, I believe, to see into the water and pick out structure and pick out things, even things like trout, like the way a brown trout has those red dots on the back, or brook trout have a lot of different colors going on. You can spot them a little bit easier than if you were just wearing a gray lens. So, and I recommend the copper for those kind of scenarios. We then have a gray with blue mirror. So this is also good for those, this is what called our cobalt mirror. This is also really good for those saltwater fishing, brighter days. It's actually probably a good point for me to mention that, everything I'm going to say here is kind of recommendations and conventional wisdom. Fishermen are always going to fish better when they feel confident in the gear that they have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whether it's the setup in your kayak that day, whether it's the lure you're using in a certain condition, you could fish the same lure all the time, and some days you're just not feeling it, and you're not going to fish that lure as well, and the fish pick up on that for some reason, and you're not going to catch as many that day. Same thing with your lenses. It's a preference. Some people just love the blue mirrors, or they like the gray lens, or they like the copper lens, or green mirror. Use whatever you want. If you feel like it's doing what you need it to do and it makes you more confident fishing, that's the lens I recommend for you. But so what I'm going through here is a little bit more of what we typically recommend. But by all means, we'd love for you to try out all of our lenses, find the one you like, and use that for the situation that you're in. So
That's a good. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Steve. I apologize.
go for it.
No, that's a good point because we kind of take for granted this information. Brad and I have been in kayak fishing for a long time. There are people that may be new to the kayak fishing or fishing in general, and they're like, what's the point? A sunglass is a sunglass. But not really. And for those that are just getting into fishing, there are differences. And sunglasses, especially polarized sunglasses, can make a huge difference between having a good day or a bad day on the water. It doesn't going to make you a better fisherman per se, but fishing is all about knowledge. If you have better knowledge of what's going on the water, you're going to be a better fisher. If you can see the fish, chances you improve your chances of catching the fish. And going back to the colors and all that, like for example, a lot of anglers will tell you, well, blue works great in a bright sunny day with clear water, so you can look in deep. Copper, like you mentioned, works great on stained water, and so on and so forth. Now, some anglers, like you mentioned, have a different preference and comfort, but they are one thing that attracted me to your product is, for example, I am nearsighted and farsighted. So there was a point where I can just get away with doing contact lenses and just do, sunglasses. But then when it came time to tie a knot, for the life of me, I couldn't thread the line through a Ned rig because I was, the contact lens is now bifocal, at least. If they are, I've never heard of them. And if they are out there, they might be. They're probably off my price point. But when I started wearing bifocals, now I have to get a sunglass that's bifocal as well. And that really kind of complicates it for me specifically, because nowadays everybody has to wear glasses. It's such a minority of the people have 20/20 vision. So having that ability to just have my glasses and just have that, and I'll let you dive on that, Steve, on how it works as a clip-on, because I thought that's another amazing thing because it keeps it stylish and at the same time practical. And again, I'll let you talk about that. Yep. But I love that aspect that I can just wear my sunglasses. I mean, my prescription glasses when I'm going out early in the morning. Sun's not out yet. And then as soon as light starts coming in, I can just clip them on and boom, I'm ready to go. And I don't have to start putting more stuff on my kayak while I'm out there. I don't have to have 2 or 3 pair of sunglasses or glasses in my kayak, just because the conditions are going to change.
Yep. And like I said, we come up with solutions for any challenge you face in the water. What you're talking about is our Duo collection, which we'll get into a little bit later, but we have a few different solutions for all anglers in which if you need to access different lenses quickly, you can do so, and even in just one pair of glasses. So you don't have to spend money on the extra ones. But
that's cool.
We'll kind of walk you through the top of the line products in our collection, and then we'll get into that stuff we showed you at the show for sure.
Yep, sounds good.
So to keep going with the lens tint, so that was our cobalt lens that I was telling you before, is traditionally known to be good for bright water, bright light, open water. I'm a big fan of our sea green mirrored lens. So that's a copper lens with a sea green mirror. It has the same contrast enhancing properties as our copper lens, but it also just has that beautiful aesthetic. Personally, I like it. Some people shy away from mirrors because they worry, well, that reflects and the fish are seeing it. And can't say I've really ever noticed a difference in my in how the fishing is going based on whether I'm wearing mirrors or not. But I just really like that lens. That's what I wear almost all the time. Is the copper with the sea green. And then for those super low light conditions, and also for flat fishing down in like the Caribbean and places like that, our Sightmaster lens is hugely popular. So this used to be just a simple yellow-based lens, which the tint is yellow, but a lot of people didn't like that you can kind of see your eyes. Looked a little strange. So we had added in the last few years this beautiful gold mirror onto it. It doesn't change the properties from inside. It still gives you exactly that low light polarization vision that you want in those early mornings or evening or very, very cloudy overcast day. But it's fantastic lens. And then the last lens tint that I'll show you is our sunset mirror. So this one is a gray-based mirror. So it, again, will give you the same properties as like our gray or gray with cobalt lens. But some people just like that really neat.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, looks different. Yeah.
Yeah, I use this not so much fishing personally, but when I'm off the water, I like wearing this lens a lot.
Yeah. So with the three main tints, the gray, the copper, and the Sightmaster, you're covered for any different conditions you're going to see in the water, no matter how the light is. And people just, anglers especially, rave over that Sightmaster lens because, when there's not a lot of sunlight and, it's not really bright, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't even need my glasses because, the sun isn't shining. The matter is you should be wearing sunglasses all the time outside because even if it's cloudy, those UV rays are still coming through the clouds.
Yep.
And when you're looking into the water, you're always going to need polarization. So it's going to help you see there. So with that lens, it just really brightens everything up. It still allows you to see into the water. And it's just the perfect lens for those situations where the sun isn't really shining.
That's cool. So did you guys mention if these are plastic or glass? I might have missed that.
No, I can jump into that. So everything I'm going to show you here today is plastic lenses.
Okay.
We do have somewhat of a glass collection. What we found over the years is that the demand for glass has been going down while the technology and the clarity and performance of plastic has improved to the point where our entire Hank Cherry collection, which he uses while competing, is a nylon specifically based lens. It's another type of plastic. And he swears by it. And we've had other athletes, a bunch of fishermen that we met actually at icast, rave about our polycarbonate collection. So just to give you an idea of the costs and the benefits and downsides of one versus the other, if you kind of remember the pros and cons of one, then just reverse it, and that's usually the pros and cons of the other one. So as an example, glass is scratch resistant. It does have slightly, but not as much as maybe in the past, slightly better optical clarity. But it weighs more, which people will say after a long day on the water, that can kind of
quite a bit more actually.
And all that. Yep. It costs a hell of a lot more typically, and some of our competitors, I mean, you're talking, north of $250, $300.
Yeah.
And the other downside is that they can shatter. So if you drop them on the deck of a boat or out in a lot or something like that, that could be game over for your glasses.
Right.
So the opposite then for our polycarbonate and nylon lenses is that they are shatterproof. They're impact resistant. That's really good too when you have one of those net rigs and you go to set the hook and you didn't set the hook and the thing comes flying back at your face. You get popped in the eye with one of those.
I did that with a chatterbait a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, no,
that's even worse.
Hit me in the neck because I went like that and I had like a big welt there.
Yeah, I've had a few piercings from those things. So they're shatter resistant. They're lighter and more comfortable to wear all day long, and they're much less expensive.
Right.
Well, not typically, always. And but they can be more prone to scratching, and the optical clarity isn't quite that of glass, but it's still fantastic.
Right. And
I work for the company, and I have access to anything and everything I want, and I'm always wearing my polycarbonate.
I'm sure trying to create a sunglass with glass lenses that floats probably pretty hard too, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing too. It can be limiting, right? So the floating collection is out of the question.
Yeah.
And then certain styles just don't lend themselves well to heavy glass lenses,
Yeah.
especially like as you get bigger styles for maybe a bigger head. Those lenses are now just you're just compounding the weight of that glass.
Yeah, especially when you're sweating and all that, they kind of start, especially
Yeah.
how hot it is, they kind of start sliding down. One of the things that I've noticed and a lot of people swear by this, it's like, well, you get eye fatigue more with lenses that are not glass. Like glass lenses, you tend to be able to sunglasses, tend to be able to wear them longer without being fatigued. Is that an issue with this type of lenses that you're using? Do you any complaints? You ever gotten to like, because and I'm thinking of the anglers work, doing tournaments. They're like 8 hours, 10 hours with sunglasses. I do at any point do you have ever had that conversation where like they're great, but after a few hours you get eye fatigue? Because I know that's a lot for.
Yeah, no, we haven't had that, and quite honestly, we've heard the weight of the glass lenses being an issue after that long. More so, we haven't even heard the fatigue because of the lens material, or it's just everyone just swears by our lenses. It's usually
That's good.
And to be honest, in fishing, where we have our floating glasses, so if you have that collection, you're not going to lose them by dropping them in the water, but we all end up damaging our glasses at some point, or you forget them or whatever. When you're buying polycarbonate or nylon lens glasses, the price versus what you get is so much better. And compared to glass pricing, I always say get a pair and a spare. If you could have one glass lens the optics is marginally better, and there's some pros and cons versus one. Or you could have two pairs, keep one in the car, keep one in the boat, one in the tackle box, one in the kayak, so on and so forth. Or just that one in case you do lose it or damage it somehow. I would always recommend. The plastic lenses.
And another good point, I think, in that this is obviously this type of shows it's catered to our listeners, try to get them to know the benefits of some of the companies out there. And I think one of them is like, for example, me, like as I get older, my eyesight gets worse. First I was just I wasn't short-sighted, but now I'm short-sighted. Forgot what's the other thing. Oh my god, I forgot the word. I said it.
Nearsighted, farsighted.
Nearsighted, farsighted. That's the word I was looking. So every year it seems like I have to change my prescription.
Yeah.
And now if you think about that, and again, this is for anglers that, have to wear glasses to go out there, especially bifocals like myself. I constantly, like every year seems like prescription changes. Now I have to buy, my glasses, my new pair of sunglasses, which I just spent hundreds of dollars, a year or 2 years ago. And I think one of the big advantages of the Hobie Eyewear, because again, it's kind of, you can have that clip-on design. So I can buy my prescription glasses, right? And if a year from now, my prescription changes and I have to get a new pair of glasses, all I need is one pair of glasses. If I get, and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve and Dylan, if I get the same exact frame, then I can just keep my clip-ons, right?
Yeah, so let's just jump into that one then away. So the glasses I'm wearing right now, these are Hobie Lennox. It's one of 3 styles that we offer in this duo collection, it's called, right? And the beauty of this collection is that, like you said, I only have one pair of prescription glasses. I have another pair kicking around for like whatever use, but my day in, day out glasses are my Hobie Lennox glasses. In my car, I have, because I said I like green mirrors, I have one of these clips right here. Right? When I hop in the car or when I get out on the water, I just click it on like that. And it's got magnets in the corners up here and here, the corners there and there, and a little hook just to keep it really on there well. But you can see how quickly, and I forget if I was doing this with you, but I was joking around.
Yeah, you were. It was a cool video, yep.
How many times can I switch my lenses? And the beauty of it is, like you said, if I have to now get a new prescription, I'm not getting it done in this pair of glasses, my 3 pairs of sunglasses that I own and all that. These clips are non-prescription. They're polycarbonate. They're all the same quality in our other polycarbonate glasses, but it's the prescription's happening in your frames here. So that's the only thing you ever have to change. You could either send them in, get a new pair, whatever you want to do. But once you have that prescription, you're all set for on and off the water. And you're all set for different conditions because now you have, again, if I'm going saltwater fishing and I want blue lens or blue mirror for that, I have that. Later on, I'm freshwater fishing another day, and I have that lens. And you can even adapt during the course of the day. So a lot of times I'll bring my copper lens with the green mirror, and I'll bring my Sightmaster. And now I'm covered throughout the day because then I can wear that Sightmaster really late into the evening. And yeah, I'm just using my regular optical frames. And then when I go home at night, hopefully after catching a lot of fish, I just take the clip off and I don't have to fish around, no pun intended, for another pair of optical glasses.
Yeah, and I think the other part too is just how clean they look.
Yeah,
like if
that's the other thing.
Outside and he's wearing them as sunglasses, you can't tell he has a regular pair of glasses on under there. It's just so seamless. We see a lot of people with prescription glasses wearing fit overs when they go outside, and those never look good. They never have. So just having a system like this where you can't even tell it's a clip-on is just huge.
So it's interesting. I have a few questions regarding this. Do you have a case for extra lenses when you're carrying, and do those magnetic frames float?
So the magnetic frames don't, and I don't have all of them handy with me here, but we do also sell a floating retainer. It's a really nice one. It's a floating retainer with kind of a foamy tubing on the back of it. So sometimes, I don't want to name brand names because I'm not looking to smear anyone, but like some have very thin wire-like ones, and that can kind of dig on your neck, especially if you got a sunburn. Some are a little bit abrasive, but these are like a really soft foam that the foam is then what makes it float, and it's adjustable, and I'll throw those on. But the nice thing is sometimes I just want to take the glasses off for a little bit, but I might be out on the stream or something. I don't want to try to put them somewhere, so I can hang them around my neck. But honestly, I know what you guys were saying about some retainers with hats on. When you put these on, it's tucked out of the way. You don't even know you have them on. Okay. That's cool. I didn't realize you guys had these magnetic things. So I was kind of looking through while you were talking, and it's interesting. Yeah. Oh, and you were asking about the case. So this is actually a case for a different interchange that we have, but it's the same idea. You get the case, and then there's like a sleeve up here that has little pockets, and you can even remove it. Oh. A sleeve where you can keep your spare lenses. So you can keep I think up to 3 additional lenses there, plus whatever ones are connected to your glasses. So you could have up to 3 or 4 mirrored lenses, different lens choices in there. But what I was going to say before, going back to scenarios and stuff, I think adaptability is very key for a fisherman as well, right? Yeah. You're going out there with 5 rods, sometimes more. I'm like to have at least 3 to 5, sometimes more. And it's one, so you're not constantly tying lures all day long. Yep. But you want to adapt. Oh, they're hitting on the surface. Reach for a top water, throw a jitterbug out. Or they're not really hitting surface, but I'm getting a few bites on the worm, so you grab your worm rod and stuff like that. So just like that, you want to be able to adapt on the fly with your eyewear as well. So we talked about all the different lens choices. A collection like this Duo collection gives you that adaptability, right? Another area, if you wear contacts or don't need prescription lenses, is we have this style here called Huntington. And Huntington has just a very simple little lever in the back there, and the lens comes right out, and then you just put it right back in just like that. And so you could switch between, with the same frame, you could switch between green and blue lenses in a matter of seconds. Just by popping it out, pick the lens you want, put it back in, and you're all set. That's cool. So that's another interchange option that we have, and that's very good for adaptability as well. Another option we have, and I call this one the ultimate tackle box glass, and especially for someone who does, like Armando, you were saying, you don't have progressives. But what you can do is, if you just need readers for tying knots, but you're good otherwise,
Yep.
We sell this style. It's called Imperial, and it's actually a folding glass. So the temples and the face fold, and it actually comes.
That's
with,
cool.
Yeah, it comes with this handy little zipper case, this little neoprene case with a little carabiner on the top. And I just keep a pair of those in my tackle box all the time. So I had cataract surgery like years ago, and so I have great distance vision now, but close up I still need corrected vision.
Mm-hmm.
But I wear these glasses. They're basically progressives with no prescription on top because I don't feel like taking glasses on and off and so on. But I like to keep a pair of these in my tackle box. So I think I'm like 2.0 power. I keep them in there. And when I go fishing, sometimes I'll just take those out. And they're super comfortable. I have the readers down below when I need to tie a knot. And for all the rest of the fishing and casting and whatnot, I have, clear vision up above. No prescription up there. So that's our style, Imperial. And again, I like to call that the ultimate tackle box glass because I fit it in everything from like the little flambeau trays to like a full size tackle box or whatever. Actually, I have two of them. Right, I have one in a tray and one in my tackle box.
So for those that can't pull off the Jody Quinn look, which he has mastered with this, he's out there with his reading glasses fishing, which he looks cool no matter what. So I can't pull that off like Jody Quinn can. So I would definitely recommend one of those. Shout out to Jody Quinn.
our big story going into icast this year, we featured it in the new product showcase. This is a different type of adaptability. This is more a on the water, off water type of adaptability. We have our style Monarch.
Wow.
This particular style here is in a metallic colored frame, and it has a cobalt blue mirror. But we have it with green mirror. We have a Sightmaster one coming, gray mirror, gray lens, I should say. But the beauty of this glass is when you're on the water, it's got coverage from the water on the side, from the sun on the sides. So it's giving you that protection of the polarization up front, but also any light that might come in from the sides. There's even a slight little shield going on the top there. So it really kind of like blocks out everything. It's really great all day on the water sunglass. You got the retainer here, which you can opt to use or not. I find it very comfortable. It's a soft neoprene retainer. So again, this one is also, very comfortable to wear all day long. But the cool thing about it is when you come off the water, sometimes you don't want to have something very fishing glass looking. Maybe you want something a little more casual. Maybe you're just pulling up and you just want to grab a beer right there at the beach or something, and you want to go a little more casual. These little side shields pop off just like that and like that. And then the retainer comes off just like that and that. And now you have a lifestyle glass.
That's
the same glass you were fishing with just a while before, you could look totally casual and no one would know that that's the glass you'd wear for fishing.
Right.
So we call it like sport mode and casual mode. But the best part about these glasses is this is also part of our floating collection. So this glass falls in the water and you're all set. It's sitting right there on top. And that's the pair that I was wearing. I was wearing a pair with the green lenses, with the green mirrors when I slid off my paddleboard. So this is Monarch, and this is our one of our most exciting stories for this year.
That's cool. That is really cool.
That one's interesting. I heard you snap off the retainers. How does that attach?
Yeah, it's just this little hole in the temple. It's gonna be hard for you guys to see. And just like
pull you up full screen.
Yep. And so it's just got like a little little nipple like thing going on there. Little hole there, just pops right in.
Nice.
Oh, what? Yeah, I know most glasses they slide over the end of the frames. That's
unique. That is you bring up a good point. I should mention that more. Yeah, when some of the ones that you have to put on there, they're not made for that particular glass. Then you got to squeeze them over the frame. Sometimes it damages stuff. No, these just click on and off, super easy, just on and off.
Huh, interesting.
Like that. And then the shields, same thing. The shields are made specifically for this style. Like in a matter of seconds, shields back on.
Is that the only model that accommodates like the side shields?
Yeah, well, the removable ones like that, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we do have a style called El Matador that has them built into the frames, but they retract. When you're closing the temples, they kind of hide away. And when they open up, you put them on and you have that full peripheral coverage.
Yeah, I'm picturing like the sunglasses that Randy Savage wore or back in the 80s. You know, the big. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we found with the Matadors, they were the perfect sunglasses for fishing because of the side shields. But a lot of guys, they didn't want to keep wearing them when they went off the water. So that led us to develop Monarch, which is now basically having 2 sunglasses in one and accomplishing all those things.
And I think going back to, the cost saving, because again, this is really for our listeners, one of the advantages, like you got, how many styles you said you have? Like 3-4 different styles?
Overall, or
Yeah, like the frame styles, I mean.
of these you mean?
Yeah, the frames.
Yeah, we have three of these. Yeah.
So you got 3 frame styles to choose from. You got the interchangeable lenses. And for me, for example, I love to do mountain biking. And my glasses for mountain biking are going to be, depending on, if I'm doing mountain biking, like in a trail that's, heavily covered with forest, where you get those, the light shining, the sun shining through, but for the most part, it's really shaded. It's going to be a different pair of sunglasses that I want to use on the water on a super sunny day at noon. So I think that's a great thing. Just being able to save yourself some money by just having those interchangeable lenses. And the same thing with, some a sunglass that will be performance-wise, will let you go fishing, go mountain biking, but at the same time, Sunday brunch outside on a picnic with your wife, which they always want to do, they'll always drag you to that, how that works, and you can still be stylish at the same time, and I think that's really good, and it's something that people should consider, because I know a lot of times people think, well, how much does it cost? Well, regardless, it looks like it's going to save you a bunch of money,
right?
A lot more than buying 3 pair of different sunglasses for different
that's a good
activities.
point you bring up. Obviously with the different lenses that interchange one frame, or even the floating, where you're protecting that investment, you're saving right there, because you can have multiple different pairs of sunglasses in one. However, what people don't realize is our base price points start at $69.99, and they don't really go higher than $120.
Wow.
So, and I think everything in our floating collection is under $100.
Wow.
As you can see, with all the different technology stories we have, and how I mentioned we have a solution for everything out there, we really do have twice the features of the competition at half the price.
Right.
And the fact that it's also sorry to interrupt there, Brad. The fact that it's also clip-on style, with the magnetic strip, which again looks stylish. To me, I'll give you my example. Like 3 years ago, when I got a pair of sunglasses for fishing, I had to settle for one style, because I kept going through the optical center, and they're like, they had Oakleys, they had, can't remember all the names, but I'm like, okay, I like these sunglasses. Well, my problem with my prescription, it was so strong. There's like, they will check. It's like, yeah, unfortunately, we can't make it on. We can't make a prescription sunglass with that type of prescription. It's too strong. So I ended up buying a pair of sunglasses that I personally didn't like, because, well, I wanted to be able to fish, and I was like, this is going to be strictly a performance-based purchase, not because I like the sunglasses. Then last year I went to Costco, and I got a decent pair of sunglasses, but the same thing, they were great, but again, it's still 2 sunglasses that I have to like pack and take with me to go out fishing. And again, what I love about that product is just that simplicity of it. It's now, that's about $500 I spent just in the last 3 years on sunglasses, just because the prescription changes. And one of the things I liked about it, and talking to Steve, is it'll fit pretty much any type of prescription, right? Because it's a clip-on. So you're not buying a prescription sunglass like I had to do. You're just buying a pair of glasses that have those stylish clip-ons that will perform well on the water.
Yeah,
sorry, I talked a little bit too much. I know you got muted there.
Technical difficulties here.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys
that's why I kept rambling on. I can hear you now. You good? You can keep. We can hear you now. I don't think they can hear us. Can you all hear us? No. Brad, you and I are going to have to talk a little bit while the.
Yeah.
Let us know when you can hear us, and we'll be.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
We can hear you. So, but anyways, Brad, what are your thoughts on it? While do we get that fixed?
Dude, I wasn't familiar with Hobie Eyewear. Like, I recently heard that they were making sunglasses. It kind of blew my mind. But before the show, like, I didn't realize they had the retainers. They had the magnetic frames, whatever you want to call them, lenses. So I thought that was really cool. Very interesting.
Yeah, and they seem like really, and again, really stylish. I love the fact that they float. That's the main attraction for me for the float. And again, they look really nice. They look really stylish. It has the name of Hobie, so there's a quality kind of name. And I'm wondering, what's the relationship with the Hobie Eyewear or with Hobie fishing products or kayaks?
Right.
All right, we can hear you guys.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
There we go. We got him back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We were just rambling on. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No, film
So,
some space.
What was the last thing you heard from us? Because I don't want to leave you on a.
So I think you were just getting back into the duo collection. I know we had spoke about price point.
Yeah.
And then I think you were talking about something after that, but unfortunately that's where we lost it.
Yeah, I saw your mic got muted, so I'm like, I'll just keep rambling
I
on
saw
until
that
they
too.
figure it out. So
I saw that too.
but yeah, I think I ended up just going to a dead end road there. But Brad, your thoughts on it? You were mentioning.
I thought it was cool, man. The interesting features of the glasses and everything. So I don't know, pretty cool. And you can't beat the price point. I was expecting, like I said a few seconds ago, I didn't know Hobie was making sunglasses. I saw their website, looked through it and everything, saw the prices. I was like, wow, that's cheaper than a lot of sunglasses on the market right now. So that's cool.
Oh, I forgot now I remember the question that I was going to ask. So, okay, I need prescription sunglasses. I need bifocals. How do I get my prescription sunglasses through Hobie Eyewear? And how does the whole order? I want to get my prescription sunglasses. I want this model, and I want 2 or 3 of the clip-ons. How do I do that?
Yep. So you can go to our website, look for the Duo collection, and when you go to add your prescription, there's a button that says "Get this in RX." That'll take you over to our lens partner site, and you can fulfill your order there. You can buy the clips through them, or you can buy the clips through our site. If you always want to try a different lens, you can always add them there. Or you could just bring it to your eye doctor. If you have an eye doctor that you're comfortable with, and you just want to buy the frames, bring it to them and have them take care of it. You can also do that too. It's just personal preference at that point. I know a lot of people tend to find that shopping for prescription eyewear online is rather challenging or difficult for a variety of reasons, fit, anything like that. So if you want to buy the sunglasses non-prescription, make sure they fit you first before you put your prescription in them. You can do that and just bring it to your eye doctor.
That's cool.
That's cool.
We mentioned that go on the website, and I don't know if we mentioned it before, but what is the actual website address?
So that's HobieEyewear.com.
HobieEyewear.com.
Yep.
So as you can see, you're on the site for one of our Duo styles. For $120, you're getting an optical frame and the clip of your choice. And then, like I said, it comes with this nice hard case. You can't beat that anywhere else.
No.
I say that about everything in our collection. But when you start talking about optical frames and how much those cost, then these features, the hard case, the clip, and all that, and then the other clips are not that expensive to buy if you then at the same time want to buy a few extras. And again, you don't have to go get prescriptions redone on all of those if you change your prescription. You just need to do it on the one glass.
Right.
So does the price on the lens changes by the prescription, or is it a standard price?
That's correct. So depending on, the thickness of your prescription, whether or not you need bifocals or anything like that, whatever, lens material you decide to go with for your prescription, that will affect the price. But just the frames and the clip, you're getting at a standard base price of $120.
That is amazing.
And Armando, to your point about a heavy prescription. So what can often happen is an optical frame usually has a much flatter lens to it. And that can accommodate a wide range of prescription powers, right? And what happens often, and this is not one brand versus another, it's just as you get more and more into the type of glasses that have a more pronounced wrap to them, like your typical wrap sunglass,
Yeah.
versus now look at like my flat optical frame against it. It gets harder to do prescriptions in those because they're not organically designed to have an RX in them. I mean, almost all of our glasses can accommodate an RX, but with this Duo collection, you don't have that worry because they're first and foremost designed for optical use. Yeah. And then the clip-on is just the icing on the cake. And also what happens if you have a heavy prescription, and you say you do, is that the lenses can get kind of thick towards the edges. Yeah. So when you have that wrapped lens, it can create some distortion. It can be a little more problematic with higher prescriptions. And the beauty about this Duo collection is that thicker lens is usually back behind the frame, so it doesn't affect the clip-on functionality or anything like that when you go to put the clips on, whether you have a mild prescription like myself or maybe a heavier one like yourself.
Blind like a bad prescription like mine.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very interesting. So, let's see. Do you guys have any other like new features that you wanted to add?
No, but I can tell you we're always developing. We're a very solution-based brand. As you know from the kayak division, they're always innovating, always moving forward, always trying to be leaders in the technology and the features and all that. And we are always trying to do that in our eyewear collection. So we're in the process of putting a bow on our 2023 collection, and I can't tease anything here today, but we have some very exciting stories that we hope we're showing you next season. But I think what we've demonstrated today is that we are trying to tackle all those different things that we've talked about earlier. We have the flotation, so you're not losing your investment. We have the adaptability, so you can adapt just like you would with your fishing equipment and lures and anything else on the boat for the moment. And we have the protection against glare and UV and all that. So it really is the ultimate glass for going out and fishing or just being on the water in general.
Yep. And by a lifetime warranty. So, we like to stand behind our product. I'm sure everyone at some point in time has had a frustrating customer service experience. Trying to get a live person on the phone. That's not the case with us. Our customer service department is committed to excellence. If you call us up, if you email us, you're going to get a response in 24 hours, and we're going to take care of you. So the lifetime warranty covers all manufacturer's defects. So if by any chance, a hinge pops or something like that, you just call us up. We're replacing the glasses.
Nice. That was my next question. So perfect.
There you go.
Well, Armando, I don't know if you got anything else, but if you do.
No, I mean, I'm super, like I said, I was super impressed when I met the guys over there at the booth in icast, and we stayed in contact, and I said, I talked to you, I said, we need to bring these guys because this is just having them here is a great service to our listeners.
Right.
That, that's what this show is for, to let the listeners know, you out there that's listening, what we like and what could be a great tool for you out there on the water. Even if you're not fishing, this is a great tool regardless. Like me, I do a lot of mountain biking, not as much as I would like to right now with the hot weather, but still, this is something that you can do it. You can use this product, not just limited to kayak fishing. So
yeah, I use my Hobies mountain biking too. I like to wear the copper lens because of that contrast enhancement. Because like you said, sometimes you find yourself in shadier areas or the lighting is changing constantly. So I love the copper lens.
Let me ask you this. I know you have your social media. Where can people follow you on social media?
Yep. So Instagram at Hobie Eyewear. We're on Facebook too. YouTube channel. Check that out. We have a lot of great videos, especially Steve doing a walkthrough of the Duo collection. That's one of our better videos. So I definitely recommend checking that one out. But yeah, definitely show us some love on social media. Give us a follow and like our content.
If you have anybody that does kayak tournament that is, associated with Hobie Eyewear, that, a lot of our listeners may be tournament anglers, and they're like, hey, yeah, I like to hear from somebody that actually wears them. Any tournament anglers from the kayak fishing scene that actually wear Hobie Eyewear, that any one of our listeners that might see him on the water says, hey, I heard you wear Hobie Eyewear. Tell me about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good segue. They just wrapped up Hobie Fishing Worlds over in Sweden. And pretty much everyone on Team USA was wearing our glasses. So, like guys like Brandon Barton, Ron Champion, Jay Wallen, guys like that. They were all wearing the glasses out there. They've worn them for years. They swear by them. Most of the guys just on the Hobie fishing team in general, once they've gotten their hands on these pairs, they haven't looked back.
No.
But outside of kayak fishing, we have the Hank Cherry Champions Collection, which we launched this year. So we worked very closely with two-time Bassmaster Classic champion Hank Cherry to develop his own line of sunglasses. So what he did was he took his two favorite floating glasses, Bluefin and Mojo Float, and we incorporated his red colors and signature logo on the inside.
Nice.
And he picked his two favorite lenses, the copper with sea green and the Sightmaster. And that's how we arrived at the Hank Cherry Champions. So, and those also float. So you get everything you need for elite level performance, and they're under $100.
I think it's great when companies like such as Hobie Eyewear invest in the community, giving, supporting the kayak fishing community and the fishing community. I think that's amazing.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, we're also doing, tell them about all the programs we're doing with fishing teams, like youth fishing teams and stuff like that.
Yes, so we have a very specialized high school and collegiate fishing team program.
Nice.
So if you have a fishing team and you're looking to place an order for eyewear, definitely reach out to us. We like to offer a friendly pricing for teams because we realize how important it is to get eyewear on younger anglers. It's one of those that is constantly overlooked. Everyone's like, I need a rod. I need all those things to fish. Eyewear is kind of secondary when really it's one of the most important things you have out there. So being able to get it in the hands of younger anglers, especially with our friendlier price points, and make it more affordable to them is key. So we look to continue to support those communities.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I dig it. Well, guys, we're winding down here. I appreciate you guys coming on the show to talk about your products. So, what's up?
No, I said definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
And thanks for having us. And, Armando, thanks for stopping by at icast. It was great meeting you. And great
my pleasure.
Again.
Hopefully I'll be there next year and get to meet you guys. That'd be cool.
Well, yeah, we'll see you there, and you'll have to stop by for our happy hour too.
Yeah,
definitely.
I heard that's a lot of fun down there.
Yeah, it is.
The parties people throw. So, all right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys next week, and have a good one. Go catch some fish this weekend.
Tight lines. Wear your PFDs.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode here on Paddle and Fin. Be sure to drop a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, or smash that subscribe button on any platform you're listening in on. Be sure to check us out on Waypoint TV, waypointtv.com. Make sure you sign up for the Fantasy Kayak Fishing League at paddleandfin.com/fantasy. You could support this show through Patreon, patreon.com/paddleandfin. Don't forget to check out the website, paddleandfin.com. Catch us on YouTube. If you got a question, comment, or want to see a future guest on the show, be sure to email us at paddleandfin@gmail.com. Shout out to our show supporters, Yak Gadget. You can check out all the fine kayak accessories at yakgadget.com. Pelican Professional. For all your cases, coolers, and lighting needs, go to pelican.com. Rocktown Adventures, your Midwest premier paddle sports destination. Go to rocktownadventures.com. Eastport Marina, the beautiful destination on Dale Hollow Lake. If you're looking for lodging, kayaks, kayak accessories, or anything fishing related on the beautiful Dale Hollow Lake, go to eastport.info. And Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com and fill your tackle boxes today.